Welcome back, guys. So this is the rematch between Lucci versus Red Yellow Sabo. As you could see in the last video, Sabo does have the tools to be able to rush down Lucci. As much removal as he may have, Sabo's just being able to take advantage of the rush characters and then healing up, which is too fast for the Lucci to handle. So I wonder how Lamb's going to change his approach to try to answer the deck. But Jonathan having to mulligan is pretty good news for Lamb, since that means he didn't necessarily have the pieces he needed. So Lamb starts off his first turn just by passing. Doesn't look like he has a span dam to play out. So same with Jonathan. 6 going into lead. Actually connects here. Popping out the Satori, pitching the Kid and Killer. Just because Kid and Killer being a brick early on definitely is not what he needs. So I don't know what that card is exactly. I think that's the card that reduces your leader by 1k. So bringing the Rob Lucci down to 4,000 and swinging 5 into it. Really hard for Lamb to deal with the early pressure here. So he's forced to ditch 2 cards already to counter out of one of the swings there, just because probably doesn't want to get too low too early. And so I do see a Rob Lucci in his hand. It's kind of hard to pop both characters on board right now because Satori being a 5-drop. I don't think Lamb's going to be able to deal with both of the bodies here unless he swings successfully into Satori. But with only 5 Dawn to work with, pretty tough to see what he could do here. He could potentially Rob Lucci and attaching the 1 on his Rob Lucci there. I think he was trying to bait out any counter, which he does with the swing. Jonathan having to use a 3k counter for just a 6k swing is really good news for Lamb here. So he manages to get one of the bodies off board, which is great for him. Honestly, I'm not sure why he opted to take out the 4-cost character, unless it had a on attack. Might have had an on attack effect. I need to look up that card after this, but if it didn't, definitely would have been more worth to get rid of the higher cost card. But Jonathan going 6 into lead, that connects, and then another 6 into lead with his Sabo here. I think he's trying to get Lamb down to Kid and Killer range. Surprised he opts not to heal. Instead, he wants to use his Dawn to chip away at Lamb's hand and hopefully get all the counters out so he can push next turn. I do see an ace in his hand, so he does have some rush to work with in the following turns as well. Alright, and then going into this turn here, Lamb does have a couple of options. He could either swing super heavy, just ensuring that he pops the Satori, and then playing out the Brook in order to pop that Charlotte Cracker with the leader ability and also the stage. Or he can play Kaku just to get a bigger body on board. I think that might be the better play, just so he can pressure life. But let's see what he does here. He does have an extra Dawn to work with, so I think that's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to swing 6 into lead, milling 2 off of the leader ability. Probably playing down the Kaku here. Or actually decides to play down the Brook. I'm a little surprised about this play just because I feel like having lethal pressure is much more threatening, especially because he has the Brook for follow-up turns. But I think he just wanted to have the Kaku just in case Jonathan had bigger bodies to put out that he couldn't pop. So the ace comes out, swinging 7 to lead. That successfully connects. And then Sabo swinging in for 8. That connects as well. It's a lot of pressure already. And him healing himself with just an ace isn't too bad, just because ace is a brick. So Lamb might be able to get more pressure back on the board here if he decides to push for a game. But looking at Jonathan's hand, he does have a lot of counter to work with. So I don't think Lamb will be able to push for any sort of lethal damage here. But this would be a really good Gecko turn for him. And this is what I'm talking about here. Having the Brook swing in for 5 with an attached Dawn just feels really weak. Versus if he had a Kaku, could have forced Jonathan to pitch his 0-cost event here. But yeah, it's looking like he's setting up for the Gecko. Just swinging into life with minimums and then dropping the Gecko. Sure, he's going to bring out the Rebecca just to have a blocker and to grab a 2k back to hand. So Spandam going first, successfully grabbing a 2k, and then Rebecca probably grabbing a Khalifa. So Lamb's feeling pretty safe right now. Not sure what Jonathan can do to get out of this, just because next turn he does look pretty cooked on board unless he has something to deal with the Rebecca here. He can definitely swing with the ace again. Maybe use the Sabo ability to just keep himself pretty healthy. But other than that, he does have doesn't have too many options in his hand. But he opts to play the power reducer here. I think dropping the leader down to 5. Swinging in for 6 with his leader, forcing Lamb to either pitch 2 cards or ditching the Rebecca. But with only 4 Dawn to work with, 5 Dawn to work with, looks like ace is just coming out with another heal. So pretty strong play for Jonathan, but that card being a 4 cost, I don't think it's going to be sticking around anyways. But I think Lamb's just thinking here to make sure that he doesn't allow Jonathan to get back in the game. With only 2 cards in hand, still essentially 2 cards because the Rob Lucci was a brick. And him taking that last hit, I think Lamb is safe to start threatening lethal here. So he swings 6 into lead, which means if he takes this, Lamb can probably just swing 13 with the Brook, knowing that one of those cards is a brick. Jonathan probably won't be able to counter out from there. So yeah, looking at Jonathan's hand here, he looks pretty pretty bricked up over there. But yeah, being able to pop his board, swinging in 5 with Brook. Not sure how Jonathan can come back into this game here. So I think Lamb just sees that he has no counter in hand, attaches everything to Spandam, and just pushes for lethal here. So Lamb being able to tie the score here to 1-1. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.